Alright, how's everyone doing? My name is Adam Starseed Bey, and today we're going to be uh, looking at maturity within your life. Maturity, or how to reach that level of maturity, or an awareness of maturity. Um, I've been seeing this quite a bit, and we all have to come to realization of growing up within our lives, or learning from our past mistakes or current mistakes. One of the key things to really realize when you need to work on something in your life is is to see if the problem that you had um, happens to you again, like a repeated cycle. It happens to you again. And what do I mean by that? So let's say a relationship. Okay, you have a relationship with someone. You love each other, right? You love each other and everything's working out great. And then all of a sudden, one of you decides to break off, right? One of you decides to break off. So the one that breaks up goes and adventures into new relationships or experimentations, whatever it may be. And the other person is still fully in love with that person. Like it hurts them. It hurts them literally. And they can't really think or concentrate or move on from that relationship. They can't move on from that relationship. So, I mean, sometimes it can make them sick. It can make that person sick because they love that person so much. And flip the other side, and the person that left that person uh, went out with other people and just began to realize that what they had was something special. And that was just a confirmation of, hey, I should have stuck with the person before. And so that person decides to go back to the person that still loves, right? Goes back to that person, and that person still is heartbroken, right? But because that person loves that person, they try it again. Well, what happens again is the same thing. That same person that left um, him or her before decides to leave again. So, and it's a repeated cycle. And when it happens twice, you have that choice of, hey, am I going to accept this person back in after they've left me twice for somebody else? Um, you really have to look at your life from a standpoint of, is this stuff holding you back? Is this taking a lot of energy out of you? Is this taking a lot of energy out of you? And I've seen this quite a bit. We all seek truth. We all seek answers in our life. A lot of times we make bad decisions, but sometimes those bad decisions turn into good decisions, right? It's hard, if you decide to break up with somebody or if they break up with you, it really changes your thought pattern and your way of life. And it can be that way with your job. It can be that way with a career that you may be wanting to start, um, or just like friendship relationships. There's many different factors that we have to look at within our lives, and sometimes we have to really look at service to self perception and service to others perception, and we really need to blend those perceptions together. Um, Again, always talk about that a lot of people really like to divide everything. But if you utilize service to self and service to others and create a balance, that's where you begin to reach a level of maturity, because that service of self represents that you have respect for yourself, you love yourself, you know where you want to go, you know what you need to accomplish to get that goal. So that's a service to self, and that's really a true mature answer for it. Service to others represents that, because you have that representation that you love and respect yourself, you carry yourself well and you handle your business well, you can begin to help others out and create their business, and to create a level of maturity for them. Um, and I was just watching an interview. Um, that's quite interesting. One of the key things to really realize, if you really want to learn a lot about life and how things work in the public eye or business eye, is to watch interviews, watch roundtables, and learn on how things work. One of the greatest things, and I've talked about this a lot in my videos, is to run your life like a business, because that reaches a level of maturity. Because if you want to have a successful business and you want to have customers and you want to keep the customers satisfied, you have to have that sense of maturity and what the customers want, right? What the customers want. And there's a lot of different factors with that. So I was watching, because I've been a big wrestling fan and whatnot, but the one of the things that I always learn about, and what fascinates me about wrestling, is the behind the scenes nature of it, right? Because wrestling's fake, right? But it's an art. It's a platform, because you have to work together. You have to what's that word? You have to plan everything out, and you got to sell it. You have to sell it to the audience. Even though wrestling's fake, you still have to sell it to the audience, make it look real, make it suspenseful, and work together. You have to work together with your partner or partners. You have to work with the writers and the producers, the boss, and everything like that, right? So I was watching, or I'm still am watching, this Triple H Shawn Michaels roundtable deal on the future of the business, on how they are um, expanding, right, the WWE brand globally, and bringing in talent. And that's what I'm getting at, is bringing in talent from around the globe, not just limiting it to just the United States or to Canada, things like that. They're branching off and bringing in people from Australia and Europe, and things of that nature. It's just really, it's a level of maturity, and that's what they're talking about, level of maturity. Because I mean, even when they started in the business, you have to learn from your elders, right? And there's very few that will teach you the true nature of the business. So I'll quit talking about wrestling, but it's fascinating to me on that aspect, that you can learn a lot from others in weird in just different platforms, right? Just like wrestling. Who would have thought that you could learn a lot about business just from wrestling? So, never rule out the what is being presented to you. What is being presented to you. Listen to everybody's perceptions and viewpoints. See their level of maturity. Um, See what they can be or could be. And with this being a social environment, we can share our truths and perceptions of what they may need to work on, or they will actually, and I've seen this a lot too, is that they will say, "Oh, hey, I didn't think about that perception, right? Let me try that in my life instead." And that's a level of maturity. And that's the beginning of maturity. That's what you need in your life, is to create maturity in your life, to learn and grow. We can't stay children forever. We can't stay teenagers forever. We have to learn and grow. That's the stage of development for our well-being, right? And the whole goal of growing up is to be a model, a role model for the youth. So then we can have them have some kind of platform to stand on, right? Because the world is chaotic. I mean, the world is chaotic, and it really lacks leaders that have a sense of maturity and a sense of being real, right? Being real without it being too oh man, what would that word be? Too um, I don't know, programmed, I guess. Programmed. Just just being real. We have to bring realism back to how we handle things, right? How we handle things. Kids want to play, they want to play, but we have to learn, and we have to teach them uh, that level of maturity. So, I mean, like for spirituality, for example, right? We have religion and different kind of concepts of that. And a lot of times it's so limited, it's really hard to mature spiritually because, in religion or Buddha or whatever it may be, it's learning how to be spiritual in your life. Learning how the spirits works, our guides work, how God works, Christ works in our life, right? A sense of spirituality. And, that's really one of the foundations that is really lost or not taught to the masses because it's all about the physical experience, money, greed, uh, the public attention of, hey, I need to act like a clown to get attention, to be appreciated by my peers. I got to act silly and goofy and things of that nature. And, you know, um, complain, 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 complain. I see a lot of people just complain to relate with people. People feel they have to complain to relate, to create a social platform for themselves. But let's change that up. Let's change it up and create a more mature theme, spiritual, um, throwing spirituality into it and having a sense of maturity within our lives and how we can make our lives better. How can we make the situation better? How can we change the focus of the negativity and bring it into a more balanced, positive viewpoint? Um, and change the platform and change the platform. I mean, everything has to have a solid platform, and that's one of the things that, I've been learning recently is that, no matter what kind of platform you may be in, whether it be business or a job or a church or whatever it may be, they have their own platform and you have to stay within that platform. But you can also strengthen the platform and change the perception of the platform. So the platform can stay the same, but you can change that perception of the platform um, to bring a more maturity or a more group-oriented effort into it. I hope that makes sense. I mean, this stuff is deep, and it's definitely something that that us as humans definitely need to work on as a whole, and that's why I bring this to the table. Because we all have to grow up sometime, and we all have to create a sense of maturity within our lives. So yeah, so that's pretty much about it. Like I said, these are lunchtime talks, and so gotta keep this short. So yeah, so love yourself, keep shining bright. Just realize, that knowledge is key. Um, grow in wisdom, but keep the door open to learning more. Don't ever get stuck in just one viewpoint. Keep to learn and grow. And just realize that as you grow older, um, there's young people that are thirsty for knowledge and thirsty for some kind of platform that they can grow and develop on, whether it be a role model, a teacher, a guide, whatever it may be. It's our job to create that platform for them, um, so then the world will continue to grow and evolve into something completely different. Because right now the world is really, really in a state of just, we need good leaders. We need good leaders. We need good teachers, and we need good guides right now. And like I said, this is the year of teachers. We are seeing teachers being developed right before our eyes. So, yeah, teachers of the future. So, yeah, so I gotta go. So, love yourself, keep shining bright, and I'll talk to you guys later.